I've been journaling for the past 4 years now, and for basically half of that time I was using Notion. And I mean, to start with, it was pretty good because I hadn't done journaling before, so it was a good place to start. But the only problem is I would sit there for 20 minutes a night. I would type out everything about my day and it just wouldn't do anything. This was before Notion had AI built into it, so there wasn't any way for me to process everything that I was using it for to journal. If I'm being honest, I just didn't find it that helpful. So I started looking around for like AI powered solutions to it. As I do, I'm, I love AI.
And you know what's going to be on your tombstone? Loser.
And it took a while. I tried something called Rosebud, which was actually pretty good. That was like the first AI powered journaling app that I had used up until that point. And then I started using Claude for YouTube stuff, and I kind of figured I might be able to find a way to use it as a journal. So that's exactly what I did.
Wait, what?
I managed to turn Claude into my personal AI powered journal that helps me process everything every day. And it also doubles up as a content library for my YouTube videos, the ones you're watching right now. In this video, I am going to explain how helpful that has been and show you guys how you can set up something exactly like I have using Claude to journal basically. And if you are also someone with ADHD trying to create content, I've built a completely free AI toolkit for you guys. So it's got ADHD friendly AI prompts that you can use either with Claude or whichever AI tool you prefer. Links down below if you're interested. So let's talk about why the journaling with Notion just did not help me, right? And that's not a bad reflection on Notion itself. I love Notion. It's helped me so much over the past, 5-10 years, especially after I became a dad. I felt so overwhelmed and so stressed. I was basically at breaking point in the first 6 weeks of becoming a parent. And if you are a parent and you have been through that, you will understand just the lack of sleep, the new challenges, just everything kind of bundles together.
Parenting is a heroic act.
So basically, I just needed something where I could get all of the thoughts and stress out of my head and onto something that I can actually see, right? So I paid, I think like £50 for a Notion life organizer template. Being honest, I didn't even know these were a thing. I didn't even know these existed until I started looking into somewhere where I could use to help organize my life, because I felt like I had no control over my own life when I became a dad. So I found this life organizer template, paid for it, completely changed my life. It's fairly simple. It just helps me organize everything into different spaces. So I've got one for content creation. I've got like a finance space to track my budget and stuff. I've got one for health and fitness. And most helpfully, there was a space for journaling. And up until that point in my life, I don't think I have ever journaled before, but basically there was a journaling section in my Notion template. So I started using it. It was pretty cool. It was set up to just start using. So it had different questions that I would answer. What am I grateful for today? What are the top 3 things I need to get done? The only problem is that every night I would sit down for 20 minutes. I would journal all about my day. I'd break it all up into bullet points, but then it would just sit there. Like, I don't honestly think that I look back at any of my previous journal entries for the entire year that I used Notion to journal. And it's not that it wasn't helpful. It's just I didn't realize there were other ways to journal, right? Especially in this day and age where AI now exists and ChatGPT was blowing up at the time I just became a dad, right? But obviously I was a new dad. I didn't have the mental energy or the time to start using AI, let alone look into all the different AI tools out there. Fast forward to, last year, I started building this new channel and I started using Claude to help me with my scripts. Honestly, I'd never tried Claude before. I had heard that it was one of the best AI tools out there in terms of creative writing. But until I used it for myself and it started generating these perfectly worded scripts for me, I cannot tell you what a difference it made, right? Up until then, I had tried quite a lot of AI tools. Claude blew them out of the water when it came to writing. You guys probably know this by now, but Claude is just on another level and it just keeps getting better, right? So basically what I've done, I learned how Claude projects work if you've never used a Claude project, is basically a dedicated space in Claude that you can set up for a specific task. I made one called my personal progress partner, and basically all I started doing with it was just using it to journal about my day, the exact same way that I'd been using Notion beforehand, but I had set it up so it was my personal AI powered journal. It knew who I was, what I was trying to build with this YouTube channel, and my recent ADHD diagnosis, which I only got at the age of 31 last year. So since then, I basically have a wind down routine before I sleep every night. So about 8:30 p.m. I do sleep quite early because I'm usually up at 5 to hit the gym and do parenting and working and stuff. So every evening, about half hour before I sleep, I will open up the Claude app on my phone. I will open up my personal progress partner project. That's really tricky to say when I talk about that on camera. And I will literally just journal about my day. It doesn't have to be perfectly formatted. Like, I will just start from the beginning. I'll say, today I woke up at 5, I drove to the gym, smashed my workout, came home, had a quick shower, drove Charlie to childcare, came back, worked until 4 p.m, gave Charlie a bath, bedtime routine, played some Black Myth Wukong. If you haven't played it, it's an amazing game, by the way. It's incredibly frustrating. The boss battles are just ridiculous. Going off topic here.
Guys, we're losing focus.
So basically, I use it to journal about my day. It will then take a few minutes to process everything, and then it will come back with a response that is just so helpful to me. It will start by analyzing all of the highest priority stuff from the day. For example, if I had like a really stressful situation with parenting or work, it will address those points first. It will help me to understand why I felt a certain way about something, but it will also help me see things through an ADHD lens. So it will help me connect patterns across my past journal entries, and it will say something like, hey Ryan, I notice you get really stressed out at the end of a Tuesday evening when the parenting has been a bit more full on. Maybe be aware of that so that next Tuesday you can take steps in advance to kind of lower your stress levels and deal with things a bit better. Random example, but you kind of get the point. And it also doubles up as a content library for me as well, which is the best part about all of this, right? So not only does it help me process everything, on top of that, because it's built within Claude where all my content stuff is, it will also take parts of my journal entries which it thinks would be really good examples for me to use in my YouTube videos, or even as ideas for YouTube videos themselves. So I'm using it to help me process everything, and at the same time I'm using it to store all of my real life experiences, which I can then use for this YouTube channel to basically try and build this channel into a really trustworthy kind of channel. I've said channel way too many times now, so I'm sorry. But basically it helped me to build the most authentic personal brand / YouTube channel possible, because everything I talk about is based on what I've actually done and what I've actually experienced in my day-to-day life. And let's be honest, between, you know, like content creation, gym sessions, parenting, working, trying to keep up with social stuff with family and friends, that's a lot. That's a lot for me. Like, I'm in one of the busiest periods of my life right now, and just having that Claude project to help me process everything, it helps me keep everything under control, even if I'm trying to juggle like 10 things at once during the day. So you're probably wondering how you do it, right? So firstly, I have already made a video on how to set up a Claude project if you've never done that before. So I would strongly encourage you to go and watch that video if you're completely new to Claude projects. If you kind of know what it is and you kind of know how to set one up, then basically all I did was I set up a new project. I used Claude to help me come up with the fun name, Personal Progress Partner. It obviously needs to know who you are, what your biggest struggles are, what you're trying to build, or, you know, what you're trying to do in your stage of your life right now. Just give it as much context as it needs to help it give you the best responses to then help you process everything that you're using it to journal about, basically. And once you've set it up, just make sure you use it. Even if it's like 5-10 minutes a day, just block out that time every single day and just try and be as consistent as humanly possible. Life can get very busy sometimes, so I have built it into my wind down routine now. When I'm doing outlier research for YouTube videos, it can basically analyze my journal entries. It can cross-reference it with any outlier videos within my niche, and it can help me find the videos that are most authentic to me. So it can help me find videos that will perform well on the channel, but also videos that I can actually talk about authentically based on my real life experiences. I think the reason that journaling with Notion didn't really work for me is that it's kind of like a solo activity, right? You sit with your thoughts in silence and you try and make sense of them on your own. And for someone with ADHD who is probably completely burned out by the time they wind down for bed, that's a really difficult thing to do. You've basically got no mental energy to journal, let alone try and process everything yourself, right? Using Claude to help me journal is a complete game changer in that sense, because all I'm doing is just telling it about my day. I don't have to worry about processing anything because Claude does that for me. I just read the response, and genuinely I have had some moments where I'm sitting there, I'm like, that actually makes so much sense when it's worded like this. I just couldn't find the words for why I got stressed about that certain thing. And doing that over and over again has helped me build so much more self-awareness. And I feel like it's helped me be the best possible version of myself, which is great because then I can show up as the best version of myself as a dad to Charlie, as a partner to Kaylee, for my family and friends. And I'm not constantly bombarded with anxieties and stresses from the previous week because I've already mentally process that and hopefully overcome it. If you would like some help building something like this for yourself, not just the journaling but the whole AI powered content system to go with it, I've opened up my first ever coaching program where I can help you with building your own AI powered system to help you upload YouTube videos more consistently. If it sounds interesting, just click the link in the description. If not, no worries, go watch another video. And if you want to see the full Claude setup that I actually use for this YouTube channel, then check out this video next.